We're going to look at some of the highlights of this collection. As you can see, guns, jewelry, clothing. Behind me, the last Harley Davidson Elvis purchased. This is a gun that Elvis would carry in his boot for his own protection on stage. Little tiny Derringer, but definitely could get the job done. TCB taking care of business. Speaking of, a lot of amazing jewelry here, a lot of beautiful pieces. Elvis would have worn, gifted, as he was obviously one of the most charitable people in the United States, in the world. The most charismatic known individual to walk the planet, really. And as you can see, the flamboyancy, his knack for acquiring things that he enjoyed, but then ultimately giving them away to friends, entourage, and complete strangers. As we progress further, you'll see several automobiles that were in his collection where he gifted them, one to his father, one to George Klein, and it was eventually gifted to Gary Pepper, who was a fan club president for Elvis during most of his lifetime. So just a lot of amazing pieces. We're going to do a tour, hit some of the highlights here, and again, being a gun nut, these guns are fantastic, but then when you add Elvis Presley's name to them, it's just incredible pieces and significant value, extremely well documented pieces here. Looking at Elvis's Harley Davidson, just learned it's still titled in Elvis's name, which doesn't get any better than that. David Stanley recalls riding this bike. This would have been at Graceland, and the title reflects Elvis's name. A lot of people would attribute Cadillacs and Lincolns to Elvis, but what's unique regarding this collection and some of the pieces, well, we're looking at a Chevy convertible, and behind it there's a Silverado dual cab pickup truck that Elvis had given to his father Vernon. So it's not always about Cadillacs and Lincolns with Elvis, but here we've got a mid-60s era Chevrolet Impala that was eventually given to George Klein, and then it made its way to Gary Pepper as a Christmas gift. The truck, there's some great pictures of Vernon Presley, Elvis's father, driving that truck out of Graceland. And then next to it is a 450 SEL Mercedes, and that was gifted to Dr. Nick. And Elvis was known to have driven that car quite a bit. Even though it was gifted to Dr. Nick, he would occasionally cruise around Memphis in that car himself. And then, of course, we're Lincoln. This was a triple white Lincoln, which is unusual unto itself. It's not too many were made. That was the last Lincoln purchase, and that was given to Elvis's girlfriend at the time, Ginger Alden. And what I find most intriguing and unique, at times a lot of these things get away, and that's studio sound gear. American Sounds under Chips Moman, to me, is some of the greatest music recorded by Elvis there in Memphis. Sadly, the recording studio is long gone, and I often wonder where these historic studios, when they get rid of old equipment to update into newer equipment, where it goes. We're looking at some significant artifacts here that are truly Rock and Roll Hall of Fame worthy, Smithsonian worthy. This gear came out of American Sounds studio. This is the gear Elvis had recorded approximately 35 songs on, but we're talking some of the great music of Elvis's career: Suspicious Minds, In the Ghetto, Kentucky Rain, that plethora of music. And the fact that this gear was not dismantled or discarded and it survived is really significant. And again, maybe you'd have to be a gearhead, but if you appreciate Elvis and the music, other hosts of recording artists that recorded at American Sound, either with Chips Moman as a producer or not, the music that's run through these equipment is just phenomenal. But again, I cannot emphasize enough the fact that this gear was saved. This is truly rock and roll Smithsonian quality artifacts. So a lot of personal items, unique pieces that you always would cherish as a collector. Stage-worn boots. We have a jacket from the film Girl Happy. Very rare to have film-related pieces in private hands outside of Graceland. But photo-identified film jacket from Girl Happy. you'll see some different pieces from different homes. Of course, a pillow here that came out of the TV room at Graceland. Sweats, which Elvis actually wore quite a bit, 75, 76, 77. Team-sponsored softball uniform, which is really cool, with Elvis Presley emblazoned across the front. I always like this team-sponsored softball leagues where the artist would lend their name to the team, and Elvis was no different in Memphis. So that's a great piece there, but different components that have come out of different homes. This is the phone book, which is basically Elvis's private phone book, and Billy Smith, Elvis's cousin, carried this on him when Elvis would need a number, and lo and behold, at the top of this one page, Anne Margaret. Doesn't get any better than that. So that was, I guess, Elvis's little black book that was white, but it's got a lot of the impressive names, and just under Anne Margaret, it looks like we've got Dean Martin of Los Angeles, California. So Bible, a unique artifact. I do know from Patsy Presley, Elvis's first cousin, that Elvis said, any fans that send me gifts, all the jewelry and the Bibles, I want to go to my bedroom. He goes, anything gifted, Bibles and jewelry have to go to my bedroom at Graceland. So the Bibles always made their way to Elvis's bedroom. He's clearly a very spiritual man and read, and was extremely well read on the Bible and multiple religions. But that's a great piece, which is really a large part of Elvis's life, was reading and learning. So again, unique personal items. The boots are fantastic. You don't see a lot of stage wear, especially in the realm of boots, surface a lot. So seeing that pair is fantastic. But again, all around me, there's several pieces belonging to Elvis's girlfriends. I've seen a couple of coats that were absolutely Linda's as far as the thin physique, but certainly her idea of wardrobe during that era. But here we have a cute little sweater, if you will, that belonged to Priscilla. If I had to guess, I would say Priscilla was probably wearing that in the mid-60s. I'd love to know who made it, if it was a Memphis maker, but that was Priscilla's sweater. So there's a lot of pieces attributed to the homes, the women in Elvis's life. But again, what's so unique from a charitable standpoint, I'm looking all around. It's amazing to think 99% of what we're looking at was gifted to the friends, family, and again, complete strangers surrounding Elvis. So hope you've enjoyed the collection. We've just hit some of the highlights again. Just amazing. Cars, jewelry, guns, clothing. I could spend days in here, and you're always going to see something you haven't seen, learn something about Elvis. So I hope you've all learned something, and certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much.